This is 4-4 congruent triangles. So with congruent triangles, there's a lot of corresponding angles and corresponding sides. So if you look at these triangles here, like AB has one congruent mark and so does ED. So I know that side AB is going to be congruent to side DE. Okay, and then for the angles, it says one arc mark, angle A is one arc mark, so does angle D. So I know angle A is congruent to angle D. I also could tell by looking at what's called a congruent statement. See, angle P would match angle W in this problem. Angle P is congruent to angle W. And line PQ, which is represented with two letters, would equal WX. So PQ is congruent to WX. So if you're asked, if you're given a congruent statement and you're asked to list all the corresponding parts, I would make two categories, both angles and sides, and fill that in. So for the angles, angle R is congruent to angle X. Angle S is congruent to angle Y, for instance. I can't move that one. Okay, I'll just list the rest of the angles. And angle T is congruent to angle Z. And then for sides, if you look what I have for the sides, like the first two letters, RS is congruent to XY. RS is congruent to XY. And then ST is congruent to YZ. And then RT is congruent to XZ. You can always draw yourself a picture. There is an image here for this one. So it would help if you mark up your figure to see what matches what. Okay, you can find missing angle measurements by knowing what's congruent to what. So I can mark up what I know. So since it's given up here that triangle EFH is congruent to GFH, I know that E matches G. I know that F matches F. And I know that H matches H, so that has to be a right angle. So I already can solve for X because I know it's going to be equal to 90. So I can start there. Add 12 to both sides. So 6x equals 102. Divide by 6. X is 17. And then you can plug that back in. So 6 times 10 is 60, and 42 is 102. I should have known that. Minus 12, 102. Minus 12 to check our work is 90. So X is 17 is correct. Okay? So I know that that's 90, and I've got 21.6. So since there's a corollary about this, since it's a right triangle, we know one of the acute angles is 21.6. The other one will be complementary with that. They'll add to 90. So do 90 minus 21.6. And you would get 68.4. 68.4 degrees. And that's the same thing here because they're congruent, and this one would be 21.6 as well because it was congruent to E. Okay, and so you can find, it's asking you to find the measure of angle GFH. The X was 17. The measure of angle GFH. GFH would be this angle right here. And so we know it's 68.4 degrees. So with this triangle congruent statement right here, I know that side AB is going to be congruent to DE because they correspond with each other there. So I can set those equal to each other. 2x minus 2 equals 6. This way I can solve for x. 2x equals 8. Divide both sides by 2. And x equals 4. So I found the value of x already. X is 4. And now I'm looking at angle B. Well, angle B should match angle E, which is right here. So I can find the measure of angle E because that's 53 degrees since it matches, but we're told to find the measure of angle F. Again, since the corollary says that acute angles of a right triangle are complementary, I can just do 90 minus 53, which is 37 degrees. We did this proof in class just for a little bit of extra practice, but you will not have a proof on the quiz.